Right there, ladies and gents, how is it going? The Tuareg's back, baby. My little Tuareg is back on tarmac. Well, back on the dirt now. Yeah, it's been off the road with a collapsed front wheel bearing for a little while. Couldn't get hold of the bits from Aprilia, but Brighton Moto, my awesome dealership, have looked after me and sorted it out themselves to avoid that supply chain problem from the old Aprilia factory. So yes, this is my first time riding it in quite a while, and I am rusty. I really wanted to do a trail ride on the Beta before coming out on this, just to get my foot back in, get the feel for sliding around a little bit more, but the Beta is also off the road, so I've not been able to do that. So yes, this is my inaugural trail riding session for a very long time. So I'm going to be very rusty, very slow, and pretty pathetic to watch. Hopefully I won't fall off, but if I'm going to fall off anyway, it's most likely to be today rather than once I've got the feel back again.
Keep that vibe. Rubber side down.
I'm running the Karoo 4 tyre still on the front, and I've been complaining before the wheel bearing collapsed that it was incredibly noisy and the handling was awful, and that was incredibly unfair of me because the wheel bearing was collapsing. So yeah, apologies for any misleading review type stuff there. It was just I thought it was the wheel, I thought it was the tyre that was making all that noise and causing the walking that I was getting on the road. But no, it wasn't, it was the wheel bearing, and I have to address that and say it's a much nicer experience on the bike now on tarmac, which is good news for me, and it saves me throwing away the tyre just yet. Now I've got the V-Strom 800 as a road bike, it might mean that I'll go back to a more extreme front tyre on this. I've still got the Motos Ralzi on the back. Yeah, I've still got the Motos Ralzi on the back, which is a cracking trail tyre, and it holds its pressure well, but I'm not too sure what I want to put on the front as a more aggressive trail tyre, because I didn't have a huge amount of luck with excuse me, concentrate. I didn't have a huge amount of luck with the Ralzi front. It just didn't hold air very well. Ooh, that's a bit beaten up here. Oh, the clutch on this is so light, it's an absolute delight. I think I've got my suspension set a bit hard on this. It seems to be bouncing around quite a bit. That little climb always warms me up. Alright, what's this water like? What's this water like? That's what you do, isn't it? You get a new wheel bearing, cover it in grease, and then wash it all off in water crossings. Alright, it's been a while since I've come through here when there's been any water here. I think I'm going to go right, because I'm pretty sure I seem to recall that right is the shallowest normally. Yeah, not too deep there at all. Wibbly wobbly, finding my way through. So well slimy. Oh. There we go. Through the worst of it. Like I say, I'm going to be going pretty slow today. So yeah, I don't know what I'll go for as a replacement front once this Karoo 4 needs replacing. I might well go for another Karoo 4. I've still got a Karoo 4 rear to put on the bike, brand new one, that I was going to put on when I put the front one on, but there was so much life left in this Ralzi. I don't even think it's ever going to wear out, that one, so I might sell the rear tyre. Oh, this is nice, this is nice. such a different pace from the road riding. Now, I'm not a hell for leather kind of guy on the road particularly, although I do have a funny 5 minutes every now and again. But it's so nice turning the chill up and the speed down. Yeah, with this bike being primarily for the trail riding, I don't really need to have a compromised tyre on it, but I also don't want one that wears out in 5 seconds on the tarmac. So I don't know, I'll probably go back with the Motos and then just have to pump it up every time I want to ride. Although I do love my Beta, and it has cost me a lot of money to get it to the bike it is, like where I want it to be for me to trail ride it comfortably and happily and all that sort of stuff. I've just ridden it so little, and I know I would have ridden it while this was off the road had that been in a state to be able to do that, but it wasn't, and I didn't. Oh, this is the slimy part. This is where I wobble. This might be where I fall off. And this is definitely where I'd rather have a more mud orientated front tyre. But we'll just poodle through, poodle through. No dramas so far. Awesome, that's good. We don't like dramas. We're not a drama channel. So yes, I am very much seriously considering selling that, and it is kind of, I think, the right sort of season to do it as we come in to the wintry months, because more and more people are going to want to do some trail riding. So I just need to get a inner tube put back in the front wheel and give it a spruce up, and maybe even put a fresh MOT on it, although it doesn't need one, just so everyone can see what sort of state it's in legally and all that. And then might get that advertised, I don't know, because I do love trail riding this bike. I know it's a big old beastie, and it's nowhere near as competent off-road as that Beta, but this is the one I choose to jump on when all are working generally, mainly because it's a bit easier to get to the trails on. Oh, we got the sun shining right through here. I might stop and take a quick photo, because it is pretty around here, and the sun's gone behind a bloody cloud. How inconsiderate's that? But I also know that the moment I stop getting it back up and running and get it cleaned up, I want to go out and get it dirty again for that one last hurrah, and then I'll fall back in love with it and go, oh, I can't sell this. The trouble with it is that I've done like so much to it to make it work for me, like getting the suspension lowered and the crash protection, radiator braces, and seat concepts, comfort seat, and all that sort of stuff. To replace it, if I regretted it, would cost me an awful lot of money. An awful lot. It is a glorious day today, really, really nice. It's got, like, the air's cool, it's not hot, but it's not cold, but it's fresh out here. And I love riding when it's like this, especially with the sun doing its thing too. Just glorious, glorious. This time of year is amazing. And I think that's when the sort of slower pace of trail riding really shines, because you get to appreciate everything all around you so much better. Well, don't get me wrong, I'll have all the things around me when I'm on a tarmac ride, but it's harder to see it all, isn't it, when you're concentrating on the 60-mile-an-hour road in front of you. Talking to people who fly, I've been watching a bit of UsernameKate's channel recently, and while she's been out of service, she's been a bit sick, she's got a fella to stand in for her on a few videos, and he's done some great trail riding videos for her. If I remember, I'll put a link up in the top corner to it. Sorry, got a mouth full of flies. Yeah, I'll try and put a link up in the top corner, or because he's pretty nifty on that bike. Definitely not the right bike for the job, but he, in my opinion, other opinions do vary. But yeah, he's pretty good on the old trails, indeed. There's something about splashing in puddles, you never grow out of it, it's always fun. last time I did any trail riding was right in the middle of summer pretty much, so it'll be interesting to see how all these lanes will have changed, whether this one's got more slippery back to how it used to be before they graded it, or if it's still pretty tame. I know it was gradually getting more and more slippery, and with the amount of water we've had, it's going to wash a lot of stuff away, and then it will be down to bare chalk. And I've just got a fly in my eye. Ow. Definitely got chewed up by the weather. That gunnel in the middle is definitely a lot bigger than it was, and I'm glad I'm going up it rather than down it, to be honest. Trying to just tractor up here. I know if I had more momentum it would all be easier. Blooming flies! Ugh, I'm gonna have to stop. That's wriggling on my eyeball. Gross. Just let me get to the top of this bloody hill before I freak out. Nearly there. Both eyes with flies. Grump. Alright, let's pull over up here. Check out my eyes. Oh, gross. One out. Did the other one just bounce off? Then the other one just bounced off. I was scrambling up that hill, making it hard work for myself in second gear. I could have just knocked it down a gear and had a few more revs, but we survived, and it's quite nice to know that I can get up there by lugging it in second. Not last time, but the time before when I came out, I was out with Mr. Fish, and we did one of the lanes that I've not done for many years. It's London Lane. Really quite slippery and a massive long climb, steeper than that, but it's straighter once you get off the hard bit at the bottom. And I'd love to do it again, just to go, yep, I've got that one in a bag, but I'm not doing that when I'm by myself. Why don't you shut your visor, Pete? Shut your visor, life will be easier. Alright, let's see what the water's like along here. I've very much gotten used to having bikes with quick shifters, with my V-Strom having an up and down, and the Yamaha. Getting on this when I was riding it out to the trails earlier, I kept forgetting that it kept forgetting that it doesn't have one. I know you can get one for it, but I'm not going to bother. It's already got enough electronics on it that could possibly go wrong. This one will probably be deep. I thought I'd really struggle with the seat height on this, as it's quite a bit taller than the V-Strom, but the Yamaha XSR is actually taller than the V-Strom too, and I think having to stretch my legs to get onto that, and having to be on tiptoes with that when I'm at traffic lights and what have you, is keeping my legs understanding tall bikes, and it meant that this wasn't too much of an issue. Oh, I've got a couple of announcements. I suppose I could do them while we're here, assuming that some of you are still watching. First things first, I'm going to be putting on a Aprilia Tuareg Facebook group, UK Facebook group owners trail ride again soon. It'll probably be a very similar route to this, maybe in reverse or with some extra bits tagged on or what have you. I'll put an event up in that group on the old Facebook, so if you've got a Tuareg and you're in the UK, down south I assume would be a better location for you, and you fancy some of that, do sign up to their Facebook group and sign up for the event once I post it. As you can see, UK trails are pretty muddy, so you will want to have a minimum of 50/50 tyres. I've got an 80/20 on the back, so my rear grip is absolutely fine, but my front, this is about as bad as I'd want it to get. Stupid thieves. I know that's been reported to the TRF and the police, so wow. I was a little bit deeper in the middle there than I remembered, but then we've had so much rain. Fun and games, fun and games. So yes, do sign up to that, sign up to the Facebook group and get involved. It'll be good to have a few Tuaregs coming along. Although it will be wet, most likely wet, all the trails are pretty easy, to be honest. They're all pretty easy, but you will get wet in the puddles. And the other announcement is more of a channel thing for everyone. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A for my Christmas and Chaniversary type video. So if you have any questions for the Q&A, stick them down below and just write Q&A at the start of the line or in the question, and I'll not respond to those comments in the normal way. I'll just add them to the list of questions for that Q&A. Yeah, that'll be around Christmas time, so if you put your questions in now, or when you watch this, as long as it's before Christmas, then I'll get them added to that video. I haven't done a Q&A for a little while, so it will be interesting to hear from some of the newer subscribers to the channel. If you've got anything that you want answered that you think my little pea brain can handle. And if you're an older subscriber too, it would be great to have your involvement. So yes, drop down a Q&A and your questions in the comments below, and I will get back to them when I make that video. I used to really kind of quite hate this lane when I first started trail riding. I was on my beta Alp back then, Alp 4.0, little 350 air-cooled engine on that. Well, it was perfectly capable. It was all down to me. I just found it really hard with all the flinty type rocks that scramble you around a little bit, and then it also got quite tricky a little bit further along back in the day, and that did cause me some struggles as well. But now I really like it, going up it, down it, whichever. Although I'm very much not used to the terrain on it at the moment, and it's about to get slimy. So it's just going uphill slightly at the moment. It's not steep, but it's just got a little climb, and I always prefer going uphill on the slippery stuff, because the bike doesn't run away from you, and you can get away with just kind of covering the clutch rather than the clutch and the front brake, and it just frees up a few extra brain cells for me, as the bike does a lot of the saving all by itself. Whereas if you're going down them when it's slimy, the bike can run away from you, but you can't use the brakes too easily, and it's very easy to lose control. So yeah, I generally try on the slimy stuff to go up rather than down if there's a choice. Wow, that's changed. That was all graded recently, that was, and supposedly to take away the slime, because it turned into a bog of eternity in the ruts. Yeah, it turned into a really deep rutted bog crossing, water crossing type thing, and it was great fun, but they graded it, so I didn't even contemplate that this time it would be a mess, but it is, it's been churned right up. They've obviously done a cheaper job on the grading on that bit than they have done on some other parts of our green lanes, because some of the other stuff has really stood up to the test of time quite well. Wolven's Lane used to be our most challenging lane in this neck of the woods, but now it's one of our easiest. And when they graded it, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter, it'll bed in and it'll get sloppy again soon. And some of it has. I mean, we did it earlier, and some of the sandy stuff is quite boggy. It saturates because it's so low in the watercourse, I think, and that means that it's always a bit sloshy there when it's been wet. But overall, that lane is perfectly ADV bike friendly now, and it's lasted years. I think they put a steamroller down it every now and again to flatten out the sand, but that's about it really. What a lovely day, hey? What a lovely day, hey, hey. I think 99.9% of the times I ride this bike on the trails, I leave the traction control turned on, and I'm pretty sure that it's been the saviour of my backside many a time. And I also know it's hindered me an awful lot on other times, so I know I really should get used to turning it off. Yeah, I really should get used to riding it on my familiar trails with it turned off, to learn how it handles in the slime and stuff, and gain that throttle control myself rather than relying on the electronics, because on the times where it has hindered me, I've been almost too scared to turn it off. And that's not good. Shouldn't be relying on the electronics like that. So once I've got a feeling for this bike, I might start riding with it switched off for a bit, just to see whether it is saving me as much as I think it probably is. I get so many positive interactions from people sharing these lanes with me, but then you get the odd one who's just ignorant. And they just, I get they don't like us on these motorcycles coming along their lanes that they think are footpaths or for horses only. It wasn't a horsey person, by the way, it was just someone walking along. But yeah, so many positives ruined by a couple of negative ones. Just get on with each other, mate. Shared spaces. We're not the enemy. And I guess if you think we are the enemy, then you should really read a map and go find some footpaths, and that way you wouldn't have to interact with us at all. I'll never show the negative ones except for when they are probably in my interest to show them, because life's too short for negativity, isn't it? But yeah, it just makes me sad that people can't get on with each other. Different hobbies, different interests, but actually still enjoying the same things. Anyway, I've left on a downer. Oh mate, let's change that around, shall we? So like I say, sign up to the UK Aprilia owners, the Tuareg owners Facebook group, and we'll keep an eye out for the event I'm going to be posting soon. And also, if you've got any questions for the Q&A, stick them down below and type Q&A in the comments with it, so I know not to answer it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll look forward to your regular comments down below anyway. But right, that's it, that's the end of the lane. So I'm going to call that one here. If you haven't done so already and you like this sort of thing, please do click that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you come back for some more. Now the winter's here, I'm definitely going to be doing some more trail riding, and hopefully, if I can pull my socks up enough, actually get to some different locations, although I'll keep saying that and it never blooming happens, does it? Yeah, hopefully there'll be some more trail content for you soon. And there's also plenty of road bike stuff too, so it keeps you entertained in between. Anyway, like I say, if you like the video, please do give it a big old thumbs up. We very much appreciate them. If you didn't like it, you can give it a little thumbs down. I do not mind at all. But please do, and like I say, drop down a comment below. Anyhow, tools, you would say, take care, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Keep that rubber sign down. You know, you gotta keep that rubber sign down.